I've worked the night shift at a factory for almost 3 years now. The job isn't glamorous by any means, but it's steady work and the pay is decent. It's a small industrial company tucked away on the outskirts of town. Most nights the place is dead quiet, with only the hum of machines and the occasional rattle of old pipes keeping me company. But there was one night I'll never forget. It started out like any other. I clocked in at 11 p.m, grabbed my coffee and set up in the security office to monitor the cameras. I was the only one there. The night crew had already left and there were just a few maintenance workers who came in for late shifts. The place was empty, dark, and it felt like it was holding its breath. I had been there for a few hours when I noticed something strange. On the security cameras, I saw a figure walking down the hall. It was brief, just a shadow, but it was enough to catch my attention. I didn't think much of it at first. Could have been a trick of the light, or maybe just a glitch. But when it happened again, I began to feel uneasy. This time I saw the figure clearly. It was tall, thin, with long limbs, moving at an unnatural speed. It didn't walk like a normal person. It was more like it was gliding, hovering just above the ground, and it seemed to be drawn to the storage room in the back of the building. Now, I wasn't exactly new to this place. I knew every inch of the factory. There wasn't anyone else supposed to be there tonight. I checked the employee log. No one had signed in for a late shift. So who the hell was that? I tried calling the maintenance crew, but the phones kept cutting out. But as I approached, I heard something, a faint whisper. I froze, listening. The whisper was coming from the storage room. It was low and raspy, almost like a chant. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone of it sent a chill down my spine. My breath quickened. I knew I should turn around, head straight out of the building, but something was pulling me forward. I opened the door to the storage room, and immediately the temperature dropped. It was freezing cold inside, the air heavy with something sour like rotten metal. The lights flickered, barely staying on. And then I saw it. The figure was standing in the corner of the room. It wasn't moving now, it was just standing there, tall and thin, with its face hidden in shadow. I couldn't make out its features, but I could see its arms hanging unnaturally at its sides, long and bent in ways that weren't right. My legs froze, rooted to the spot. I couldn't look away. That's when it turned its head, slowly, impossibly slow. And when it did, I saw its eyes. They were black, pure black, no whites, no pupils, just endless darkness. The air around me seemed to thicken, and I felt a pressure on my chest, as if the room was closing in on me. The whispering grew louder, more frantic. I could feel the coldness crawling under my skin. I backed away, desperate to escape, but the figure didn't move. It just stood there, watching me. The whispers grew louder until they were almost deafening. I could feel them scratching at the edges of my mind. I turned and ran. I don't know how I got out of there so quickly, but I bolted for the exit, not stopping until I was outside, gasping for air. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I couldn't stop shaking. I looked back at the building, half expecting to see the figure standing in the window, but there was nothing. Just the factory, standing still in the night. I didn't return to work the next day. I called in sick and told them I had an emergency. The company was understanding, but I knew I couldn't go back. Not to that place. It's been a week since that night, and every time I close my eyes, I see the black eyes of that figure. The whispers still linger in my mind, fading in and out of my thoughts. I don't know what it was or what it wanted, but I know one thing for sure. I'll never work the night shift there again, and I'll never forget the cold, the darkness, and the whispers.